Hey, it's Bill from Hunterwick, and this is the Nerd Stalking Video Podcast. This episode, we put the nearly unkillable Halloween franchise under the knife.
One of my favorite movies is Halloween. Mm-hmm. Halloween 1 and 2. I love them as one film.
Right.
And there's a movie that was remade in a completely different way. You know, it was rebooted.
Yep.
And then just, you know, a guy named Rob Zombie, who has like, you know, such a badass name, made such a shit movie. And he removed all the badass from the movie. Right. And he's done other great movies like Devil's Rejects and House of a Thousand Corpses. They were great movies.
Yep.
I like those a lot. But Halloween and what he did to it was like he basically bent Michael Myers over a chair.
Right.
You know, it's like the one thing you don't do is unmask the monster. Otherwise, you have empathy for the monster.
Right.
And
that's something else. That's totally something else.
Yeah. So you have like this amazing character who is just pure evil. Like all he wants to do is kill. He doesn't want money. He doesn't want to burn your house down. He just wants to fucking kill his family.
Yeah.
Like that's all the guy wants. Let the guy get what, you know, that's it. And he'll kill anybody in his way. Right. And it's he doesn't want possessions. He doesn't want life. He is just a killer.
It's a killing machine.
It's so, you know, you just have to be in the wrong place at the wrong time and you're going to get a scalpel in your back, you know, like,
right.
And that's what makes him really scary. The randomness of it,
right?
You know, even though he's looking only to kill his sister,
right? But that's what they're dealing with, right? Even, you know, think about it. Even back then, thinking, you know, mass shootings and killers in society, and they're commenting on it then, and just, you know, yesterday or the day before.
There was one story I heard earlier today that it was this guy he killed 3 people at 3 different scenes over the course of a day or two.
Yeah.
And he was an Uber driver.
Yeah.
And apparently he was picking up customers between killings.
Yeah.
Like a crazy fucking world we live in.
It's funny, and also in that original Halloween, Michael Myers at some point seems really contemplative. This scene where he's got a guy up against the wall, he lifts him up so the guy's hanging, you see his feet, you know, the old shot. And then Michael Myers just drives a knife through him and he pins the guy to the wall. I think there's a door there and he pins him to the door. And then there's a wide shot, which is a little ridiculous because the body he lifted up doesn't look anything, isn't in the same position that he did when he skewered him. But then he's standing there and the guy's pinned to the wall and then he kind of looks at it like he's looking at a picture that he's painted.
That's right. He likes it.
He's got pride in his work.
But in that scene where the one you just referred to, we weren't happy with that because where the knife goes, he would have fallen over.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
That's what you always think. Like just the body just would have ripped off or fallen through, right? But the whole movie is made in that sort of fairy tale, you know, supernatural quality that's the only way you can do it and forgive that stuff be forgiven, right? And plus, a guy just got murdered, so you're not like really analyzing the scene because initially the audience is like you're repulsed by it.
Later in one of the newer ones, he does that again, except now the knife goes through his collarbone.
Right.
So you know that the guy would be hanging there, right?
Right.
Because in that one, it's like, yeah, he would bend at the waist, right? Because he's like stabbed at the belly or something like that, right?
Yeah.
But slasher movies they're there for you to vent through, you know? Like it's exciting and it's scary, but you're also sort of venting through them.
So you're thinking more, it's more like, I live in this townhouse and the fucking neighbor's stereo's bumping, you know, all day. I just want to watch a film where a guy's fucking stabbing people.
Yeah, because I want him to be stabbed, you know?
But I can't do that.
Yeah, because we live in civilized society. Yeah. Michael Myers doesn't follow those rules.
Right.
But then Rob Zombie comes along, and while you think he's going to pay this homage to this great, the best slasher that ever made it to film,
right?
Instead, he strips him down and he... you know, like he does in all of his films, he's now a white trash family and you know, in a trailer park or something.
Right.
And now it's the stepdaddy was mean to him and the mother was a whore and the sister was this, and it was on and on and on it goes, and it's sort of like it removes all the mystery of why he's so evil.
Think I ain't making a mental list of all your fucking bullshit.
Sweetie, look at me. I know things have been bad, but tomorrow we start to make everything better, okay?
How you feel about Rob Zombie's version of Halloween?
Next question.
The real interesting thing about the original Halloween is, like, it starts off, Michael Myers is a kid, and he lives in suburbia.
In a perfect little
beautiful house. It's looking through the peepholes, and you get this look at this beautiful house, and
then
these
just
beautiful people.
Bam.
And that's, playing on the idea that no matter where you are, you can live in your little house, your beautiful little house, make your great salary and have a house, and then things can change like that.
That's right. It's like, my neighbor, he was so quiet.
Right.
He lent me a shovel once, the same shovel he buried the bodies with,
Exactly.
And that's what's chilling about it. If you put him in a bad environment,
right.
Well, we say, okay, well, you're raised in a bad environment. There's a chance you're going to be bad.
Right.
But it's scarier when there's a chance you're going to be bad when you're in a really nice place.
Right.
And everybody feels that way, including the people who come from bad places.
Right.
Rob Zombie just made him this guy who had a really bad upbringing. And then he tried to turn him into the monster by the end, but it was sort of like, oh, poor Michael Myers.
Right.
If I went through that, I'd want to kill teenagers too.
So he's trying to tell an epic story of how one man went wrong. But it doesn't really work.
Well, and there was this whole movement of, I guess, with the idea of a reboot, saying, hey, we're out of ideas. We could just remake the movie, but some of these movies are great. So what say we strip them down? We do what Lucas did with the episode 1, 2, and 3, and let's go back to the beginning. How did Hannibal Lecter become a cannibal? How did Michael Myers become a slasher? And on and on.
Right.
And they're all terrible. Because you unmask the monster, you now have empathy for the monster. And now he's like you. You're trying to find the goodness in him. But when he's masked and he's horrible, it's like Darth Vader takes his helmet off when he dies. So that suddenly he's not the monster anymore.
Right.
He's
that's
redeemed.
at the end.
That's right.
That's not at the beginning.
If he did it sooner, and this is why there can't be,
exactly.
like, Vader can't be in the next movie. He has to die and remove his helmet.
Right.
Because if he doesn't,
it's cheap. It's a cop-out.
Well, it's like not to talk about Star Wars all night, but in The Force Awakens, when Vin Diesel or whatever the Darth Vader Jr. there is, when he takes his helmet off.
Adam Driver
takes his helmet off. It's sort of like, oh, we're going to do that now, are we?
Right. Yeah.
So
that's true. That's true.
And suddenly we all thought he wasn't anywhere near as scary till the end of the movie.
Yeah.
He was no longer a menace. It's like I haven't found the need to see the remake of Robocop.
Right.
Because the first movie was perfect.
Right.
So why see another one?
Right.
To see everything that it's not?
I'd buy that for $1.
The budget on Halloween. This is a real indication of what somebody can really do.
Halloween for a long time, I think until the Blair Witch Project, was the highest grossing independent film ever made.
Well, the Rob Zombie films each were made for $15 million, which is still pretty low in the big picture, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty low.
Yeah.
But the Halloween, the first one, what do you think it was made for?
I'm thinking like 200,000 or something like that.
Yeah, it's $325,000 that they made that movie, which is like unheard of in this.
Do you have how much it made?
I don't.
Yeah.
The
it made a ton of money.
The sequel, Halloween 2, which is just a continuation of the night, cost $2.5 million.
Right.
Which I guess says that the second half of the night is way more expensive than the first half of the night, which is true. Because that's when you get in trouble.
I think Halloween 2 is an abomination and a horrible movie. I was really disappointed in it.
Well, it's funny talking about remakes and Halloween is I remember going to the theater to see Halloween 3, The Season of the Witch, and I really enjoyed that film.
Well, you can enjoy it as long as you don't think that it's going to be tied in with the first two movies.
It's funny. I don't know if I did or not. I remember reading that what they were going to do, what they're planning to do with the Halloween franchise was do just that, is make films that were like one-offs. Like they weren't going to deal with Michael Myers anymore. It's almost going to be like an anthology horror series of films where it would be just scenarios, like maybe the Twilight Zone blown up into like feature length.
So Halloween grossed.
So made for $300,000.
Made for $325,000. Worldwide, are we going to go domestic or worldwide? Domestic was $47 million.
Right.
And worldwide was $70 million.
Wow.
Yeah, and just in perspective, like Halloween 2 only made $25 million internationally.
That's funny.
But it was made for $2.5 million. Third one was made for $2.5 million. It made $14 million. The fourth was made for $5 million. Made $16 million. Like, these are shit numbers.
Yeah.
Like, really.
You're getting diminishing returns there on your Halloween franchise.
Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers was number 6.
How much did that space one make? Where it's he's in space.
No, that's Jason.
Oh,
that's Jason
right.
10.
Sorry, I'm
Jason
getting
X.
Friday the 13th. I'm getting them mixed up.
Yeah, this is the good franchise we're talking about, not the bad franchise.
Right.
H2O, which was the return of Jamie Lee Curtis.
Right.
That one was made for $17 million and made $55 million.
There you go. You're back on track with that one.
Getting a little bit more money. Halloween Resurrection, $15 million, made $37 million. And then the Rob Zombie films, each made for $15 million. The first one made $77 million, $7 million more than the original.
Right.
For
not that, well, yeah, it was way
or
made for
30 times the budget.
It's funny. It was made for way more, but if you were to like adjust for inflation or whatever, it's maybe similar.
But it's not.
It's in the ballpark, I guess.
No, because they made the same amount of money, but one cost $325,000 and one cost $15 million.
Yeah, some good killing in those new movies, and like there's some scenes where it's very like right out of like Nightmare on Elm Street, where the townspeople have surrounded him, right?
Yeah.
Frankenstein. They surrounded him, and they finally had it, led by Anthony Michael Hall.
Yep.
In the Halloween Kills, it's called, and they're around him, and they're gonna lynch him, right?
Yeah.
And they start hammering him, hitting him with baseball bats, and shooting him, and doing everything, right? And you think that's it, but no, and it's just like, holy fuck. He comes back, and you're like, oh my god, it's so well done. It was a scene that is like when Vader moves fast in Rogue One.
Right.
With his lightsaber. And you're like, that's how he should be moving. He shouldn't be moving around like he can't see out of his helmet.
Right.
Well, I can see by the clock on the wall that it's about time to wrap this baby up. But anyway, I want to thank Chad for participating, and thanks to anybody out there in podcast land who takes the time out of their lives to listen to ours. And if you want to get in touch with us, you can send an email to nerds@nerdstalking.com or through our Twitter @nerdstalkingpod. Don't go change it.
The third channel, it's still running. Stop it, please, for God's sake, please stop it. There's no more time. You've got to, please, stop it now, turn it off, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it.